all day. And I think it's really hard to predict what's going to happen here because Marco Fu's played very well in his first match, not so well in his second, but he got the result anyway. Si Jiahui struggled in his first match, was simply brilliant in making the maximum in his second. And if he can maintain that form, Fu could have problems handling him. In fact, Dave, I don't think I've seen a greater transformation between two matches in the Championship League ever. Sir went from a D mark to an A+.
He was superb, and that is the danger for Fu. Even though Fu only needs 2 frames, he did decline, actually, from one match to the other, albeit I don't think playing back-to-back actually favoured him with his issue with his eyesight. He has had a break since then. But Si Jiahui was like a man transformed, made the maximum and just looked absolutely superb. He needs a good season. That's why he's here. He's trying to kick-start it with what he hopes is a successful Championship League, certainly to get through today to the next stage, because he needs ranking points to hold on to his top 16 position. He's 16 now. He's got big points coming off as the season goes on. And, of course, I mean, it's only 3 years since he was in that World semi-final, but since then he's seen 2 of his compatriots win the championship. Xiao Xingtong and Wu Yize have sort of overtaken him as the sort of young talents from China who are at the top of the game. Still time. He's 24 on Saturday, so he's still a young man.
14.
Yeah, the sands of time aren't running out on him anytime soon.
15.
By the way, the 147 was the 25th in all versions of the Championship League. All 147s are amazing in their own right. Some of the shots that Si Jiahui pulled off to achieve that, yeah, they were exceptional. But now it's a very different task. It's about winning.
He was the only top 16 seed to lose in round 1 at the Crucible this year. He lost to Hussein Vafai pretty heavily. And it just really brought to a conclusion what was a disappointing season. Just a couple of quarterfinals. He's also the only top 16 player yet to win a ranking event. He's been in 2 finals.
Yeah, the Vafai defeats. He was 3-1 up, made a century early on, looked okay, and then everything just went to dust. And of course, that result spoilt what could have been an unprecedented run, because at the Crucible, it's never been the case that all top 16 seeds survive the first round.
Is he just on this red? He thinks so. Yeah.
26.
He's a wonderful potter. His tactical game is not as advanced as it could be, certainly as some other players, but potting is superb.
33.
Well, this could be the key that unlocks the door to the frame. But nowhere near. And also nowhere near position.
Si Jiahui, 33.
No, it was a bit wild, actually, wasn't it, that shot? But not left anything easy. Never actually played each other, which may be slightly surprising, but because Marco Fu hasn't been sort of featuring in the latter stages of tournaments for a while. Oh, Marco. Well,
Si Jiahui, 4.
maybe happy the white went in there in the end, because at least it gets a bit of distance, although Si Jiahui is one of the very best at knocking balls like these in from distance. We've already seen that today. He's kind of favourite to get this. Yeah, well, obviously put the mockers on him.
Well, I agree with you, Dave. I thought he was favourite to get that. By the way, Karwei Chung is basically home and dry, just a couple of pots away from beating Matthew Stevens 3-0 and winning the group over on table 2 with a maximum 9 points.
Yes, 2 generations of players from Hong Kong. Potentially both group winners tonight. Fu in now with the chance here, and it's a good one where the Reds are as the shaking of hands takes place. Karwei Chung will be coming back for the next stage. He's only lost 1 frame all day.
And only the 5th player in this tournament to win a group with a full complement of 9 points. Karwei Chung thrust into Group G in the second phase, together with Zhang Anda, Jimmy Robertson, and one more player yet to be determined.
17. Two. Three. 30. 31.
'Didn't quite hold the cue ball where he wanted to. And the knock-on effect, he's not quite on the blue as he wanted to be. So having to accept this red from mid-distance.
42.
Yeah, it's just unravelling a bit, isn't it, now? This break, he's finished very low on this black.
Yeah, even though he potted that last red, he caught it just a hair thick. Yeah, when you start to run out of position,
43.
bad things can happen. Just 6 points separates them.
Yes, and this red potable to left corner.
One.
Well, he's looking at trying to just, I think, bring this other red out in potting this one. Yeah, that's the plan. He's played it pretty well.
9.
Doesn't he hit the balls hard? They make that very distinctive sound when they thwack into the back of the pocket. Had to hit that one hard to create the angle to be on the red, mind you.
16.
And now the red is in. It should be plain sailing. Should be 1-0 to Si Jiahui. The break goes to 23, the lead to 17. So green and brown needed.
Well, he's striking the ball with great authority.
35.
So Marco Fu was in. He just lost position. And in the end, that black was not a friendly pot.
41.
So, Si Jiahui, needing a win in this match, has made the most agreeable start, putting Marco Fu under pressure by winning the first frame. Now, if you're just joining us, how did they get here? This is the group decider in Group 6. Well, Si Jiahui drew 2-2 with Sean Maddox in the first match of the day. He won the first frame on the black, the second on the blue, very scrappy. And then Maddox came to life with breaks of 96 and 63. Then Marco Fu, he recorded a 3-0 win over Zhu Yichen, made a 106 break and a 67 in that one. Then he followed up with a 3-1 win over Maddox. That was completed with a respotted black in the final frame. We had our break between sessions, and then immediately on the restart, we had the ultimate fireworks. Si Jiahui making a 1-4-7 break in the first frame against Zhu Yichen, went on to win 3-0. The 1-4-7 was simply magic. A string of excellent shots in it. The last red was good from mid-range under pressure. He also had to put one red late on in the break and hold the cue ball for the black, having potted the pink, or having potted the last red at a very acute angle with lots of bottom and check side. That was superb from him. The whole break was superb, actually. And so that's why we've arrived here. Fu on 6 points, Si Jiahui on 4. Si Jiahui needs the win. For Fu, a draw will do. Don't know whether you saw the 1-4-7, Dave, but it really was out of this world in many respects, because the first red he potted to get in was amazing. Bear in mind, it was the first ball he potted the whole session after a lengthy break. Got down, whacked it in, and the rest is history. A small piece of history.
I certainly did watch it, and there's certain players who, I mean, it was a great break, but also just the way they play, they make it look good. The first maximum he made against Judd Trump in the Wuhan Open semi-finals 2024, that whole performance that night, it's not an exaggeration. It was one of the best single performances that season. It was an outstanding display. Obviously, that was in front of a big crowd, albeit quite partisan out in China. This is a bit more prosaic here, but when he plays really well, he looks a world beater. He's got to try and find some consistency, and also, I don't particularly fancy him in scrappy frames when balls go awkward. His tactical game is not up there with the other top players, but in terms of knocking balls in and making breaks, he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, because the match you mentioned against Judd Trump, apart from the 1-4-7, he made a 1-4-4 and another century. On form, he's very dangerous indeed.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big favourite, actually, for the final, just based on that performance, but then he didn't reproduce it, because it's hard to play like that again 2 days running, and Zhang Guodong beat him.
But I think given his ranking position, he might well swap the 1-4-7 for a guaranteed group win.
Yeah, there's different times of the season being in the top 16 is an advantage. It's not a terrible disadvantage necessarily always to be out, but having said that, you're more likely to have to go to qualifiers, and you can end up kind of scrambling to get back in again. You want to be there really for the UK Championship, the Masters, obviously, because that is the top 16, and the Crucible.
Basically, what we're saying about Si Jiahui is that his best game is right up there with the very best. But certainly over the course of the last couple of seasons, it's not been unveiled all that often.
Well, we're going again. You would think, of course, Shanghai Masters is will be his next engagement, and it's a big invitation event, huge tournament. And he plays Pang Zhengzhou, but if he beats him, he plays Wu Yize, the world champion, who, as I mentioned, he's a young Chinese player who's kind of gone past him for now on the pecking order, having won the world title.
Well, they were very similar, I always thought, Wu and Si. Great potters, good break builders, lacking in the safety department, but Wu's safety, as we saw at the World Championship, has really improved leaps and bounds, whereas Si Jiahui's hasn't.
Yeah, and also, I think people were too quick to say about the collapse against Luca Brissell, oh, he'll get over it, he's young. You know, it must have affected him, that. He was 3 frames from the world final at 14-5 and he lost 17-15. No matter what age you are, that's got to be a massive blow. Could have been the youngest ever world champion.
And it wasn't as though he didn't have chances in the final few frames there. He did. But when he's in full flow, he's a joy to watch.
Yeah, and he is competing here in the safety with Marco Fu at the start of this second frame. So basically, there's a potential 3 frames left. As it stands, they both need 2. Ooh, did he just catch that? Looks like he did. I thought it just very slightly moved.
Full and a miss.
What a shambles that was. He's hit the blue. Good grief. Wow. All the great stuff he's played in this session, and then that.
And he didn't just graze it either.
Touchable.
What has Fu got left in the locker? It's touching ball on the red, the cue ball. That's been called by the ref. Considering the extent of the foul shot there, Dave, he could have left something more straightforward than this.
Well, I suppose at least he left something, because imagine the referee having to put it all back again. The tournament's long enough, so Dimitri there is, I'm sure, inwardly quite happy about that as well. But anyway, Fu taking his time on this.
Yeah, the opening pot was
1.
very simple, but the positional aspect of the shot most certainly wasn't. And this is normally where Fu excels. Really good cue ball control. Member of the 500 century breaks made in professional competition club. Well inside.
Yes, he's a different sort of player to Si Jiahui. You know, it's a lot of touch. Doesn't sort of slam the balls in.
9.
He's got 5 maximum breaks to his name, Marco Fu, including, of course, 1 in Hong Kong itself, in the Hong Kong Masters, which was a great occasion. Made that against John Higgins in the semi-finals.
Yeah, they reckon there were 9,000 people there.
16.
Well, I've been in arenas when there's been 3,000 in. So to have 3 times that amount, I can't quite comprehend that.
17.
No one in here. It's a behind closed doors event. But that won't stop Fu attempting to build another big break.
Yeah, this group really starting to look like it's going to come down to the wire. Maybe the very last frame. If Si Jiahui were to get a 2-1 lead, it would do.
25.
sometimes invitational wildcards to play on the tour are a little controversial, but I think the way Fu plays, the way he continues to play, I think it's warranted that he gets one. He can still be very competitive, got to a last 16 of a ranking event last season.
Two.
Well, here he is in the Championship League. His first big title was the Premier League, 2003. Beat Mark Williams in the final, I recall.
33.
No ranking points for that, mind you, just a boatload of cash.
Forty-one. $48.
A little close to his work there. And because of that, apart from the pot being made a lot more difficult, his positional options have been somewhat restricted. So taking alternative red. Well, overcutting the black in the first frame cost him. Well, overcutting the red there be equally penal.
Well, it's a useful lead, but there's loads of reds on. Break ended at 48.
One.
Well, looking to get the reds moving, but didn't pot the black, so
Si Jiahui. One.
Marco will be very relieved that that visit came to almost nothing, and the red is on to left middle. Should be 1-1 here.
One.
And that gives Si Jiahui no room for error, no room for manoeuvre. Remember, he has to win the match, so if it does go 1-1, he would then be required to win the last couple of frames.
Eight. Nine.
Of course, he's looking to emulate Karen Wilson, who has won both versions of the Championship League, the Invitation and the Ranking. Marco won the Invitation version back in 2010.
15. $16.
Well, he's basically over the line already, but this pink to make sure. So, okay, it wasn't one visit, but he has got the match level, and now it really is in the balance, this group. Fu needing one frame of the two remaining, and Si Jiahui needing them both.
23.
When it comes to break building, his
98.
knowledge of the patterns, knowledge of what shot to take in which order,
9.
is right up there. He never played this quickly before the eyesight problems. He was never a slow player,
34.
but now he's a speed merchant. And he's making the game look very easy. Of course, all the talk today, Dave, has been about Si Jiahui's 147. Marco Fu had a historic 147, the first ever made on the net.
45.
Up at the Scottish Masters.
46.
It was the only frame he won in the match.
Yeah, I was talking to Alan Taylor about that, and of course it was very much pre-YouTube, pre-broadband, pre-Wi-Fi. So it wasn't the most comfortable watch.
53.
But you're quite right, that was broadcast on the internet.
55.
All felt so exotic back then.
Yeah, won a
58.
car, didn't he? And he couldn't drive at the time.
62.
Now he's driving the agenda here.
67.
Well, we've got 2 frames left, but Marco Fu's hoping
73.
that the first of them is the only one that will ultimately matter. If he wins it, he's our group winner.
18 is the frame. Marco Fu.
You will not see a more effortless clearance than that. Marco Fu right back in this. And you'd have to say now, even though Si Jiahui is the highest ranked player in the group and the top seed, you'd have to say now Fu is favourite to go through. And this is exactly how we like it. Yesterday, well, the group on table 1 was rather topsy-turvy, and it meant that the last match on, Stuart Bingham and Jordan Brown, was effectively a 3rd and 4th place playoff. So not of the importance of this. By the way, the group winner here, this is Group 6, will go into Group F. That means they'll be back on Monday to face Mark Joyce, Jack Jones and Chang Bing Yu. Our tournament director, Marcel Lacotte, has got a tough job, actually, because all of the second phase groups are of great interest, and he has to put only 4 of them on table 1.
The 3rd frame.
So Si Jiahui has to win this frame to take the group down to the last frame, which he also has to win.
I'm not saying he's been a bad potter from distance. He hasn't. He's been more than adequate, but that's not the strength of his game, Fu, especially as he's got older and the eyes have deteriorated.
One.
rankings are a movable feast.
5.
What someone does affects others, and those around Si Jiahui in that battle for the top 16 will be hoping that he doesn't win this group.
Well, we've got the 17th ranked player coming in tomorrow, Jack Lazowski,
6.
who of course has got into the Shanghai Masters because for whatever reason Mark Allen didn't enter.
Thirteen. 14.
Really good below centre striker on the cue ball, gets a lot of purchase on the white.
21. 22.
But he wasn't an overnight success. He turned pro at 17, lost his card, but regained it by winning the WSF Championship.
Yes, he sort of was unwittingly embroiled in controversy, wasn't he? Because he beat Sean Murphy in the UK Championship, and Murphy wasn't best pleased that a player playing under amateur status was in the tournament.
30.
Yeah, Murphy didn't have a go at him personally. He just thought the system was incorrect.
The problem was, you know, he wasn't some plucky sort of plumber who turned up, you know, on a day off. I mean, he was already had been on tour and was really good. That was the other thing. Anyway, coming up now to trying to get these reds open. Well, this one goes just below the pink, obviously. But you're going to have to open these reds very soon. That's going to be the key to killing the frame off at this visit. Trying to nudge a couple more out, but the cue ball hasn't quite come through nicely for the black. He's looking at the pink now. He's polished some key balls already in this session, of course, during that maximum, but we're now really in a more important stage. It's about winning the group. If he's going to keep his top 16 position, it would be a big blow not to reach the next stage of this event.
You can almost hear the brain whirring. Do I try and attack, or should I apply good sense? Well, he attacked, and it's worked out. A treat.
Well, that was such a tough shot.
51.
It really was, and he played it brilliantly. Not out the woods yet completely, but still going. So it's starting to look like this group is going to be a one-frame shootout.
$52.
Or maybe not. Hang on.
He was trying to create just that extra little bit of angle to go into the pack to good effect. And of course, by doing that,
1.
he misjudged the pot. The pot went wide, and now Marco Fu has a great chance to win frame and group.
7.
Yeah, I mean, the points difference doesn't really come into it. It's where the balls are, and they're all where you want to be.
8.
Where you want them to be when you're a break builder of the class and ability of Fu. And you just know he's going to go about this in his calm manner.
Fifteen. 16.
Interesting there. Fu just took an extra few seconds, not to
23.
give extra thought to the pot, but to plot his moves. And by knocking in that one, every red is now wonderfully open.
One. 32.
'That's a tougher shot than it looked. He was playing that with lots of running side.
39.
But his mastery of the cue ball is well known, and it maintains.
Seven. 48.
The last few shots, he's dropped them on a sixpence.
Yeah, and sometimes we remember breaks for
53.
great shots that are pulled out, but they're pulled out because players lose position. Fu has just kept tight control of this cue ball, and in his
55.
usual understated way, he's just going about his business, and he's surely going to win the frame, and he's surely going to win the group. A player who, you know, is in danger of falling away completely from the tour when he had his eye issues when they first surfaced. That could have been it.
Yes, and because of his remote location, the COVID-19 pandemic was also a real issue for him. But building breaks in pressure situations has never been a problem for Fu. It is a problem for Si Jiahui. This is frame and group ball.
$67.
He's taken these with so much precision,
73.
as though he was practicing.
He changed the frame.
Leading 52-0. Si Jiahui missed a pink, and Marco Fu did the rest. An 80 clearance. What a great day's work from him. Now it's just a matter of whether he can win the last frame and make it a maximum 9 points out of 9. But that's academic. The job is done. He's won the group.
Yeah, what a great day for Hong Kong. Ka Wai Chung winning the group on table 2 as well. So they're both going to be coming back for the next stage of this event, which of course starts actually on Friday.
Yeah, great day for the second seeds in groups as well. So now they've won 8 groups. Top seeds have won 18. Fourth seeds 2. Third seeds 0. Yeah, I think it's just another vindication that Marco Fu fully deserves his place on tour via that invitational wildcard, because he can still play the game to a very high level. Yeah, so Fu now joins Mark Joyce, Jack Jones, Chang Bing-yu in Group F in the second phase.
Frame 4, Marco Fu to break.
Well, we assume that the players are aware of the situation, but Si Jiahui, I'm sure, still doesn't want to end the day having lost a match. Would like to just end on a positive here. Problem he had today, I mean, he played outstandingly in his second match, but that first match he was so far under par. Okay, got the draw, but with Fu winning his 2 matches, it meant, of course, he had to win this one, so he had no real wriggle room.
Yeah, these groups often come down to one key frame. I think this one came down to one very key shot. In his second match, Fu was 2-1 up against Sean Maddox. The fourth frame went to a respotted black, and he knocked in a really good pot to the green bag to get over the line. Had he drawn that, it was a very different scenario coming into this. You know, I think what's amazing to me is that over the course of the fortnight we've been playing here, so often players have taken dead frames very seriously.
One.
Well, from where he was sitting down on the cue ball, he could not have done much better than that.
5.
Yeah, Si Jiahui guaranteed in second place, so there's nothing hanging on this frame for him either. Yeah, we don't know how Si Jiahui will go this season. But I hope he plays well because he's very entertaining to watch.
Well, what happened there? Was that a miscue?
Si Jiahui, 13.
Just a mile away from the pot. It must have been some sort of miscue.
Yeah, well, he was looking at his tip before he played the shot.
Can Marco Fu then get all 9 points out of the day, as indeed Ka Wai Chung did on table 2?
A lot of players take their watches off when they play. Not Marco. He's been known for wearing some very extravagant timepieces. One, an enormous thing. I think he designed himself, didn't he, Dave?
Yeah, it was a limited edition watch. As that red
Marco Fu, 6.
does not drop. Shame Dominic's not here. He could give you a chapter and verse on the history of, well, pretty much every watch.
One.
Sting's gone out of this a bit now because it is an academic frame, but Si Jiahui just looking to end the night on a high. I mean, he's had the maximum today. That was a great moment, but ultimately disappointing not to progress.
Yeah, I think the fault hasn't been so much this match as the first, as Dave mentioned. So he was really toiling in the opening contest. But then in the second, bingo. The pearl, as they call him, came out of his shell.
11.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt Si Jiahui could win a tournament. He's good enough. Been in a couple of finals. And I'm sure he's got that hunger, having seen his friends, you know, winning big tournaments, the biggest tournaments.
Yeah, definitely in the conversation. Best player yet to win a ranking event.
19.
I think it's a genuine debate now. For many years, it was Jack Lazowski. Now, though, it is a proper debate. But Si Jiahui undoubtedly included in that conversation.
27. Thirty-four.
Well, he missed on 52 in frame 3, and it cost him. No miss on 52 this time. And in a few moments' time, the frame and the day should be wrapped up.
Yes, just 2 more days of stage 1. Can the likes of Jack Lazowski, Luca Brissell,
43.
Xiao Xingtong make it through to the next phase?
Well, it's been a special tournament for the Asian contingent in the event. 8 Chinese players through so far to the last 32, and now a couple of players from Hong Kong. Also one from Thailand and one from Iran.
59.
Well, it can end with another century.
Seven. $74. $75.
Well, it's green, clearly key if you're going to make the century. For what it's worth, is he going to try and bring it out? Yeah. Left the white, though, on the cushion. And it's green. I think he's blocking the yellow anyway.
80. Si Jiahui, 80 frame.
No century, but the consolation prize of a draw. Si Jiahui remained unbeaten for the day, but the day itself belonged to Marco Fu. A very good performance. 7 points gained. Group 1 into the last 32 for the 48-year-old from Hong Kong. So Dave's going to go out and speak with Marco. Before he does, let me give you the groups. Kawei Chung, also from Hong Kong, couldn't have done better in Group 26 over on Table 2. 3 matches, 3 wins, 9 points, just 1 frame lost. I thought at times today Matthew Stevens played well. He claimed 2nd place on frame difference from George Pragnall, the Q School top-up. Ashley Carty, no points, no prize money, and no ranking points. And this is confirmation of Group 6 on Table 1. Yu Zichen never got going. Sean Maddox had the consolation of 3rd place and £1,000. Si Jiahui needed to win that last match to top the group. He could only draw, and that means Marco Fu is the group winner. And I'm sure he's delighted as he speaks with David Hendon.
Marco, your latest group winner, how did you feel about your performance today?
Yeah, I think I played quite solid today. It's like short format, so like right from the start, I need to be 100% concentration, focus, shot selection, all the small things that has to be done perfectly. I think like right from the start, right, which I was, I think able to do it. I won 3-0 in my first match, and yeah, played quite well after that. Won a scrappy second match, but I think I played quite well tonight. So yeah. Very happy with the way I play overall.
Yeah, it's a cutthroat format, isn't it? You know, and every frame does count. So, and you've got Si Jiahui in the group as well, who's a top 16 player. So you must be proud to come through and still be in the tournament.
Yeah, it's a very tough group, you know, especially Si Jiahui. He's a very good player. I've never played him before, actually. This is the first time I've seen him play up close, right? So like he's like a fantastic player. So yes, coming through this group is obviously very difficult. But sometimes, you know, playing in the group format, it can, you sometimes you can overthink. You start to like look at other people's matches, start to calculate the points, frames. The game is tough enough itself, and you're making things even more complicated. So I think today I just try to make things simple. I just want to pot the next ball, basically win the next frame, which I was able to do today.
We know in recent years you've had a few issues with your eyes. What's the latest on that? Have things got better? Is it the same?
I think it's pretty much the same, but I'm getting more used to it now, so I can't really use it as an excuse. I think from now on, I think I'm playing quite well overall in practice. In matches, it's a little bit different. Had a tough spell in the qualifiers in June, but coming through this week, hopefully, can kickstart my season. But overall, my physical condition is I'm pretty happy with it, I think.
And finally, do you have any specific goals for the season ahead? Because you've been on tour a long time now, haven't you?
Yeah. I think I'm not sure. I just try to enjoy myself. Hopefully, I can stay on tour as long as I can. But you never know with the standard strength and depth. Like from ranking number 1 all the way down to the bottom is like very difficult now. So I think, just try to enjoy it and, see what happens. Yeah.
Marco, it's always great to see you, and we'll see you in the next stage. Well done. Cheers.
Marco Fu, he speaks well and he plays even better. Now, tomorrow, this is what's coming your way. It is Group 31 on Table 2. Luca Brissell, Mitchell Mann, Deng Weihao, and